Good day. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Insight from my book, where we explore ideas that strengthen our leadership, deepen our understanding, and inspire us to become wiser citizens in an ever changing world. Whether you are joining us from New York or California, Texas or Florida, Alaska or Hawaii, or from American communities serving, studying, working, or living abroad, I am honored to have you with us today. My name is Reverend Dr. Clarence R. Pearson, Sr. I am a pastor, researcher, leadership consultant, public policy observer, and author with a passion for helping individuals, communities, institutions, and nations grow through wisdom, ethical leadership, responsible citizenship, and informed decision making. Today, I would like to share another important insight from my latest book, Neither Left Nor Right: The Battle for America's Democratic Soul. Our focus today comes from Chapter 7, The Weaponization of Sociopolitical Grievances. The central lesson of this chapter is one that every American should carefully consider. Grievances deserve to be heard, but they must never be weaponized against the nation or against one another. Every society has grievances. No nation is perfect. Every generation inherits challenges. Every community experiences moments of frustration. People worry about jobs, healthcare, immigration, education, public safety, the cost of living, equal opportunity, religious freedom, constitutional rights. These concerns are real. They deserve thoughtful discussion, they deserve responsible leadership, and they deserve practical solutions. The problem begins when legitimate concerns are transformed into permanent political weapons rather than opportunities for national problem solving. A democracy grows stronger when grievances are addressed. It becomes weaker when grievances are exploited. The difference between representation and exploitation. Political leaders have a responsibility to represent the concerns of the people. That is one of the essential functions of representative democracy. But there is a significant difference between representing people's concerns and exploiting their fears. Responsible leadership seeks solutions. Irresponsible leadership seeks applause. Responsible leadership calms unnecessary fear. Irresponsible leadership amplifies it. Responsible leadership builds bridges. Irresponsible leadership deepens divisions. Citizens should expect leaders to acknowledge difficult problems, but they should also expect leaders to offer hope, vision, and constructive solutions, not simply anger, when every issue becomes political. Chapter 7 examines several issues that have become deeply politicized, including immigration, race, gun policy, and public health. Each of these topics deserves serious national conversation. Each involves complex legal, economic, ethical, and constitutional questions. Reasonable Americans can, and often do, arrive at different conclusions. That is not the problem. The problem arises when every issue becomes another opportunity to divide Americans into opposing camps rather than encouraging thoughtful dialogue. When every disagreement becomes a cultural war, compromise becomes more difficult. Solutions become more elusive, and public trust continues to decline. Healthy democracies make room for disagreement while remaining committed to the common good. Fear is a powerful political tool. Fear has always influenced politics. Throughout history, leaders across the political spectrum have sometimes appealed to fear because fear captures attention. Fear mobilizes people quickly. Fear simplifies complicated issues. Fear often creates urgency, but fear alone rarely produces wisdom. When citizens become fearful, they are sometimes more willing to surrender trust, compromise, or even constitutional principles in exchange for the promise of security. America's greatest strength has never been governing through fear. It has been governing through confidence in democratic institutions, constitutional safeguards, and responsible citizenship. Fear should inform us. It should never control us. Lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the case studies discussed in this chapter is the political debate surrounding COVID-19 vaccines and public health policies. The pandemic challenged every level of government. It tested healthcare systems, scientific institutions, political leadership, businesses, schools, families, and communities. Americans held differing views about mandates, individual liberty, public health, and governmental authority. These were important debates, but one of the greatest lessons of the pandemic extends beyond COVID-19 itself. National emergencies require public trust. They require transparent communication. They require humility. They require leaders willing to acknowledge uncertainty while remaining committed to evidence. Most importantly, they remind us that crises should unite a nation, not permanently divide it. Regardless of political perspective, every life lost represented a family forever changed. That reality should always inspire compassion before politics. The common good is still possible. One of the most encouraging truths in this chapter is that Americans still agree on far more than public debate often suggests. Most Americans want safer communities, good schools, affordable healthcare, economic opportunity, secure borders, fair elections, respect for constitutional rights, equal justice under the law, strong families, responsible government. The disagreement is often not about the destination, it is about the path. Recognizing this truth changes the conversation. Instead of asking, how do we defeat one another? We begin asking, how do we solve problems together? That question strengthens democracy. Why this matters today. This conversation matters because political division becomes especially dangerous when citizens begin believing that their fellow Americans are the problem. Most Americans love their country. Most Americans want their children to succeed. Most Americans desire peace, opportunity, and security. We may disagree about public policy, but disagreement should never erase our common humanity. America's future depends upon remembering that our neighbors are not our enemies. They are our fellow citizens. 3 questions for reflection. This week, I encourage you to reflect on 3 simple questions. 1. Am I allowing fear to shape my political decisions more than wisdom? 2. When I encounter someone who disagrees with me, do I first seek understanding before making assumptions? 3. Am I contributing to solutions or merely amplifying division? These questions are not designed to weaken conviction. They are designed to strengthen citizenship. Responsible citizens care deeply about issues. Wise citizens also care deeply about one another. Why I wrote this chapter. I wrote this chapter because I believe America possesses the wisdom and resilience to address even its most difficult challenges. Immigration can be discussed responsibly. Racial justice can be pursued thoughtfully. Public safety can be strengthened. Healthcare can be improved. Constitutional freedoms can be protected. Public health can be advanced. None of these goals require Americans to become enemies. The greatest victories in our nation's history were achieved when citizens found the courage to work together despite profound differences. That same courage is needed today. In closing, let's quickly review today's insight. Today, we learned 1. Every society has legitimate grievances that deserve thoughtful attention. 2. Responsible leadership addresses concerns without exploiting fear. 3. Complex national issues require dialogue rather than division. 4. Fear should inform our decisions, not control them. 5. National crises call for unity, transparency, and compassion. 6. America's common good is stronger than its political differences. When these principles guide our thinking, difficult conversations become more productive, communities become more united, and democracy becomes stronger. If today's insight has been meaningful to you, I encourage you to get a copy of my book, Neither Left Nor Right: The Battle for America's Democratic Soul. The book is available through Amazon and other major online booksellers. Simply search for my name, Clarence R. Pearson, to discover this and my other published works. After reading the book, I encourage you to leave an honest review to help other readers discover this important conversation. I would also be honored if you would follow my Amazon author page to stay informed about future books, leadership resources, civic education materials, and new releases. Before you go, please follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Together, we can replace fear with understanding, strengthen respectful dialogue, promote responsible leadership, and preserve the democratic values that unite us as one nation. I have been your presenter, Reverend Dr. Clarence R. Pearson, Sr., helping you transform knowledge into wisdom, conviction into character, and citizenship into impact. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Insight from my book. Until next time, remember, grievances should inspire solutions, not division. The measure of a healthy democracy is not whether it has disagreements, but whether it has the wisdom, courage, and compassion to address them together. America's greatest strength has never been the absence of challenges. It has always been the determination of its people to face them as one nation. God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.